I think the piece about being authentic and having trust is it comes when you interact with somebody and they feel like they are really interacting with you and not a persona. So if I feel like I'm speaking with you and the conversation that we're having is the same sort of conversation that we would have if we're sitting in your living room, that's, I think, when people feel authentic and they're able to trust you. If they feel like, they're talking to you as you are Dr. So-and-so and I'm talking to you through this lens, it's going to be harder to have, higher levels of trust. One of the things that we do is we have a lot of our programs structured around cohort models. And in cohort models, there's trust that is really important to it. Support structures, also holding people accountable, goes into that trust development. But being able to see people for people that are similar to you, I think is really important for that. In some of our programs, we have people that, have master's degrees on one end of the spectrum, and we have people that barely got a GED. And all of those folks come in at the same level. And we expect, those with the GEDs and those with the master's degrees to be able to have a dialogue that is equitable in nature, where you know just as much about this person as they know about you. And I think it's, coming to any sort of a relationship with that level playing field idea. One of the other one of my favorite kind of public allies lessons that Paul Schmitz talks about is, he talks about this glass, right? So we have this glass, is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? He asks this question, and the answer is yes. It is half full and it is half empty. And so as community members and people who are, say, doing service delivery or people who are identified as a community organizers, you should see yourself and the community member or the client or whatever terminology you use as being half full and half empty just as you are, and your jobs are to fill one another up, not the service provider or the community organizer pouring water into somebody else's empty glass. And so I think if you were to approach it that way, that becomes very obvious to people, and there's automatically a barrier that gets put into it. So I think, it really comes down to how you as a leader or a community organizer or service provider show up in the room, and the things about your own self or your own privilege that you check and fully recognize.